Hey guys, welcome to Geeks Talking Geek, and we are here. This is Bandito Bane, the well-rounded nerd, the Super Spider-Man fan, and the Warhammer nude, and I am here with the Reverend Sully.
Hello.
So how have we been? How have we been so far,
Oh,
Sully?
so far so good. Had a big long week at work. Who doesn't?
Yeah,
And just enjoying my time off and time down. Enjoying my weekend, pretty much.
yeah.
I was
So,
on West this morning. That was
oh
fun.
really? Yeah.
Yeah. I was on
Who was
there
up?
with Doc, Aaron Sparrow, um, Jim Werner from Weird Science, and Gabe
Uh,
Hernandez from Comical Opinions. And we spun we talked about all the newsworthy stuff. It was great.
yeah. One of the biggest newsworthy stuff that happened was like for me, one of the things that happened was like a reply that Nick
Mhm.
Lowe did in Webhead Aficionado newsletter, in which he basically said that they didn't want to. A fan wanted said that ever since One More Day, basically Peter's been in this state of stagnation where he hasn't developed as a character, and he compared it to Venom, who's basically a loving father now, who's basically a father now because he reconnected with his son. But Peter is still in this state where he gets a girlfriend, he faces a big threat, ends up fighting that big threat, loses that girlfriend, rinse and repeat. And he says that this is that he that and basically he's been say he what Nick Lowe says that they don't want to continue from this state. And I was like, what? You're willing to burn down your biggest book because you want to basically want to play it safe?
Yeah, I mean, they look at it like it's a publishing industry thing. I don't think they just don't see it the way we do. Um, they are a magazine publisher, and they've always have been. But at least in the past, there were custodians and stewards of these stories, and there was a sense of wonder, and there was a sense of just joy to this. But then came the corporate takeovers in both. What was that? 2008 or
Yeah,
so, when
yeah. When
Disney bought
Disney,
Marvel
yeah,
from
yeah,
Mike Perlman, and DC's been owned by corporate interests since 1967. It was bought by the Kenny Corporation. They owned parking lots. They were a huge American conglomerate, and they ended up buying a failing movie producer studio, Warner Brothers Seven Seas. So the Kenny Corporation changed its corporate name to Warner Brothers because that, like, everyone knew Warner Brothers more than Kenny. So that's what we have today. Trickle down that Kenny Corporation bought, like, National Periodical Publications in 1967. So, but
yeah.
it's like it hasn't been like at least when Jeanette Kahn was the editor and the publisher, like, she had given permission for the creatives to be creative and interact, until have this joy of storytelling. But now it's just corporate product,
Yeah, but
and
I mean, even with the corporate product, I mean, some characters do evolve. I mean, look at Superman. He
mhm.
he keeps evolving with every iteration that they bring in. I mean,
Sure,
like,
but also, like, Spider-Man. I mean, I don't know, like, how serious we have to ask questions, and like, how serious was Secret Wars 2015? Didn't
yeah,
Wasn't that the Marvel Crisis on Infinite Earths? Didn't that reset clocks and everything? So,
yeah, but like in the news in this letter, he says that he they want to remain. they want to. He's in that newsletter. Niccolo wants to remain relatable to a younger audience, but I mean that's the
Yeah, you get
thing.
that's a very corporate. That's like you know the word boilerplate is
Yeah,
like a boilerplate. Yeah, that's a boilerplate statement that is so common, so corporate, so safe to say too. You know,
but the thing
with the
is that
exception of riling up fans. You know,
yeah, but the thing is that they have three characters in the Spider-Man fan base
mm,
that can be more relatable to a younger audience than Peter Parker. You got Spider Gwen, you got Miles Morales, and you got Spider Boy. Those can be more relatable to a younger audience, and it just really boggles my mind.
but they never really do because they're all derivative of the master property. I mean, it's always Batman and it's always Spider Man, and still to this day young boys in kindergarten have Batman and Spider-Man backpacks and stuff. You
yeah,
know what I
but
mean? So
yeah, but I mean, even now they're even now there's uh like Miles is just as popular as Peter now.
mm-hmm.
So just let Peter be Peter and let Miles be Miles. So like
And that's pretty much due to the movie. I mean, that's
yeah,
some brilliant. That's some brilliant cross pollinating. That Spider that movie, those two movies have probably been one of the biggest boosts for Spider-Man. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Bridging
and
generations.
yeah, and like I basically got my hands on ASM 64 because it fell off the back of a truck.
Oh, 64?
Yeah, it comes out next week.
Oh,
It
I thought
comes out
59.
next
Is it 59 comes out next week?
no 64 54 or no wait 15 60 or no 58 ASM. I got 58 ASM 58
Mm-hmm.
it because it fell off the back of a truck
Oh,
and and
you know,
like
I don't care what anyone says about ASM 57. I
it was a good book.
thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love the
this
pacing
is
of it. It's
yeah,
got great camera work.
this one's even good, even better
Oh,
because
cool.
I think
This
that
is Zebwell's
well
final issue, right?
no his final issue is comes out in October. It's going to be 60, but
Okay. Okay.
it's going to like this one also had someone who was saying how like he was enjoying ASM 56, but
Mm-hmm.
he like legacy number
Hola,
50.
pero
Yeah, he's hungry.
you let him in.
No,
Let him play with us.
my stepmom. She he's hungry and he's calling my stepmom. So
Mm-hmm.
like legacy number 50, like I think it was number 56, which is legacy number 50. He
Mm-hmm.
said that the side story of Paul was unnecessary because this guy is basically a plot device
Mm.
for MJ and Peter to be apart. And he's like, well, that Wells was like, well, we want to let Wells tell the story before we talk about the elephant in the room.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, okay, so so you are planning to break Paul and MJ. So
Peter, Paul, and Mary. That's so funny.
yeah, yeah, but it's
Very
like,
biblical.
and
And they were a folk group in the '60s. Peter, Paul, and Mary.
yeah,
Seriously, there was it's a music joke.
yeah, and the thing is that I think like Venom and Doctor Doom are basically going to be the one thing that's like that is going to like I think they're ready to move on to the next step, like undo one more day because like
It's
it's
interesting.
going
I mean, Amazing Spider-Man. I know there's a Venom War Spider-Man that's
yeah,
written by Kelly and Lansing and Kelly,
yeah,
but there are no ASM
Yeah,
direct
there's no.
tie-ins into
Yeah,
Venom War.
yeah, but right now it's like right now with Venom War, the it's has like it's basically Mary Jane. The characters are basically Mary Jane or Jack or
No, that's the
Peter.
Jackpot. That's the Jackpot show.
Yeah, Mary
That's
Jane
the
as
Jackpot.
Jackpot
And
and
and Peter
Paul.
being, oh, you're such a good superhero. I am so proud of you. You are such a,
Yeah, but
have you been
Venom is
superheroing
like
all this time? Oh, you're
Venom
my
is like
superhero. Oh,
Venom is
sorry.
like Venom is like basically stripping down Peter. He's basically telling him he's lying himself to her
Mhm.
himself, and then even when even he's like talking to Mary Jane. They end up rescuing her, and then
Mm.
Venom comes out, and he's like, once again, Paul has failed you, and he's like, it's like, yes, this is it's just so funny to me because
Mhm.
Venom has always wanted to separate these two because Peter chose Mary Jane over the symbiote suit,
Right.
and now Venom is basically helping them get back together because he sees the pain it's causing Peter. But
Hmm.
like another theory I have is like Doctor Doom wants to end one more day because of one thing. He hates Mephisto more than anybody in the Marvel universe.
Hmm. And
And
he's the Sorcerer Supreme, so he's got
yeah,
some real leverage right
and
now.
like he knows that like he knows all the things that happen from all he has all the knowledge from Doctor Strange from his time as Sorcerer Supreme because of the Eye of Agamotto, and he knows that Mephisto fears their daughter. So
Hmm.
he's basically someone who he's Doctor Doom is basically has someone who will come up with a plan, but for his own reasons.
Oh yeah.
And and if he wants to end one more day just because he wants to make sure he has a weapon against Mephisto, he'll do it because he hates Mephisto that much. Yeah. So,
Uh, what about Spider-Man Reign 2 issue 3 that came out last week or the
oh,
week before? I loved it.
oh, me too. I
It
loved it. I mean, this was like
was
it was
fun.
just so heartbreaking to me because this basically this basically made this timeline mess up
Well,
with
you keep messaging. Yeah, that's the whole thing about
time travel.
time travel. It's like every time Peter goes back, it just messes everything up again, and you get now you
It's
have this local log jam of different timelines and all.
yeah,
Space time must be it's just like messing up. It's like right out of a Stephen King book.
yeah,
Like Stephen King
and
did this book called 11/22/63, and so Carrie Andrews is maybe like ripping that off just a little bit because the whole thing was every time you went back in the past, you just like they were just coming back to the same point in the past,
yeah,
in the late 1950s, and created this snarl of space time. Like you
and
just had to use your imagination,
like
and
yeah, and like instead of Mary Jane dying, it was Peter who committed suicide because he found out what he was doing to her,
yeah, I mean, and
and
so
she
it's
ended up
really
hating him because she left him alone. He left her alone, and
mm,
she became the perfect host for Venom,
mm-hmm.
and it was like the at the that last panel finally got me because Peter just lashed out at Miles saying that he wasn't going to fail her again,
Mm.
and I was like, yeah, yes, this is what I love about the Spider-Man stories, and I wish that we've seen that with more with the Zeb Wells run, but the Zeb Wells run has been a disappointment for me.
For a lot of us, but
Yeah,
it's you know I don't think that Amazing Spider-Man is written for Spider fans. Spider ASM is written for newbies, for
yeah, but
for for casual fans.
Yeah, but
And
I mean, even the casual fans are saying that this is a terrible book.
but it's not terrible. It's incredibly mediocre. I
Yeah,
mean, we just have very high standards because
yeah,
why shouldn't we?
yeah,
But there's a lot of good things about this book, like the Ed McGuinness art, the Todd Knock art, and most definitely for me personally, it's got to be the John Romita Jr. Scott Hanna art. I mean,
yeah,
I read these things pirated digitally, so sometimes when you blow up the image, the art gets grainy, and the lettering doesn't because the lettering is digital, but also the onomatopoeia, the sound effects are not drawn in. So a lot of the times these digital sound effects are just, they're not very well laid out on top of the image. They're just they're not part of the artist's vision, and it just will pull me out. So you have this beautiful Romita Jr. art finished by Scott Hanna, and it's then you have this clumsy looking onomatopoeia just
yeah. Uh,
plooped on top of it.
the letterer, the letterer really blows it sometimes.
Is it the letterer who does that, or is it the colorist that does it?
Yeah, I think it's like either the letterer or the colorist because they really blow it up. I sometimes feel like it's just it just gets disjointed for me sometimes the art.
Check out any issue of the Incredible Hulk recently that's drawn by Nick Klein. He does his own onomatopoeia, and it's
Yeah,
so beautiful because it is part of the art, and it's coloring, and it's just part of the coloring of the panel, and it's just really great. I mean,
yeah,
I'm a Bronze Age baby, so I must be spoiled.
yeah,
But it's just so obvious. Like then you have a Danny Earls book who's also doing Hulk as well, but he does not do any of his sound effects, and it's just like they they're literally the same image repeated. There's no like kind of like organic line variation. It's just like, it has the power to pull me out of a panel.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I just picked up Spirits of Vengeance, and I saw the video that Wes did, and I don't. I'm like, I do
Yeah,
not.
we were all kicking that one today.
I
Yeah,
don't know. I'm like, I'm a Ghost Rider fan, and I don't know. I don't
Ghost
know if I
Rider in
want
a
to read it now.
wheelchair. We were all coming up with different things. Wes was like, I got an idea. I got a Ghost Rider on a pogo stick. and and like Aaron called it hell on wheels, being in the wheelchair. And I was
Yeah,
like, I got an idea. It's Ghost Rider underwater because he's a man on fire
that that
underwater.
that
So we
reminds
were
me
all
of
just
the
going on
of
with
the
it, man.
Futurama episode where Bender's smoking a cigar underwater, and they're like, that just raises further questions.
Yes, it's a man on fire underwater.
All right,
And it'd be visually stunning.
but speaking
Make
about art,
Namor the spirit of vengeance. That
yeah,
would actually be an interesting
yeah,
mashup.
that would be
I would,
interesting.
yeah. What if
Yeah.
Namor was the spirit of vengeance?
All right, but speaking about artists, we actually lost a great artist last
Mhm.
week and also a great actor. So we're going to say a farewell to John Cassaday and James Earl Jones.
Mm-hmm.
They were that I remember James Earl Jones through like the voice of Mufasa and like, but this is actually my favorite scene from Conan the Barbarian. Like, let me show you.
The power of steel versus
Yeah,
the power of flesh.
shit. Let me.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
That is the power. Yes. Come to me, child. Do it. Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Yes.
Now that guy played LaFours in Clerks.
You killed my mother. You killed my father. You killed my people. You took my father's sword. It must have been when I was younger.
I just like how
There was a time, boy, when I searched for steel.
when he's reminiscing.
Steel meant more to me than gold or jewels. The riddle of steel. Yes. You know what it is, don't you, boy? Shall I tell you? It's the least I can do. Steel isn't strong, boy. Flesh is stronger. Look around you. There, on the rocks. That beautiful girl. Come to me, my child. That is strength, boy. That is power. The strength and power of flesh. What is steel compared to the hand that wields it? Look at the strength of your body, the desire in your heart. I gave you this. Such a waste. Contemplate this on the tree of woe.
Whoa!
Crucify him.
Indeed.
Yeah, that was like one of my favorite parts in the movie of all. He was such a great actor.
Yeah, and it's interesting because Tool to Doom there is like that's a Call the Conqueror bad guy, not originally a Conan bad guy.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I only found this out
and
recently.
it was. Yeah, me too. I found out that out when I was like doing research on Robert E. Howard and like I was like reading all his stuff, and like he was basically one of the inspirations for Skeletor, Thulsa Doom.
Mm-hmm.
But like I'm gonna miss James Earl Jones a lot, and I'm gonna miss John Cassaday because his art was amazing.
Yeah.
Like when someone says like if they when someone asks me like what comic book I'm interested in X-Men, what would you recommend? I would say Astonishing X-Men with John Cassaday's art.
Those are severely good comic books.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like the one where it was like after like the Grant Morrison run.
Yeah.
And
I mean, Chuck Austin was screwing the pooch over on
yeah.
everything else. I mean, I just remember, I hated that. I was so into the Grant Morrison stuff. But I understand that your run comes to an end, and
Yeah.
that was the thing. He had 4 years on that book, man, and I loved it. I was there monthly, but so I kind of just skimmed over Astonishing when it first came out. I came back to it later on, and I'm like, whoa, this is some seriously awesome X-Men stories, especially that first one with the Danger Room gaining sentience. That was wow.
And like one of my favorite ones was when the terrorist group was actually killing humans and framing mutants, and that was also the one where they actually had Colossus return.
Yeah, and the whole irony that we brought back. I liked it because that's Joss Whedon for you. That was all here. I'm going to bring back Colossus, but guess what? I'm taking Kitty away, and this isn't like the star-crossed lovers thing once again.
Yeah, it's like it was like I'm not gonna Joss Whedon was like, "No, I'm not gonna bring back Jean Grey through this run."
Yeah, I'm gonna take Kitty away from you. I'm gonna break your hearts.
And I think he liked, like, I mean, one of my favorite couples in TV was Xander Harris and Cordelia Chase, but then he screwed the pooch on that because he wanted to do he wanted
it
to
was a high
have
school fling with Willow.
Yeah, but he wanted to have like a known character from Buffy and the Angel series because the producer wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was like, I thought that the way they handled it was like stupid because
We're bringing Cordy onto Angel's show.
No, with how they basically broke them up, because I thought like Xander was like,
yeah, it was it was because they were
two completely different people. And
yeah, but I think it's very high school because it was in their high school days. It was their senior year in high school, and also you have two relationships be affected, three if you count Xander and Willow's best friendship too. But it's like Oz forgave Willow and they kept on going out. Cordy hated Xander after that.
Yeah, and I did not think that was like it, but it's like we didn't really screw the pooch for me on that. And I've never liked Enya.
Oh, really? He does everything on purpose. Everything was done because, and next is just like,
I never really liked Enya as a character because she never showed any sympathy for what she did as a demon. And
that was her role. She was a vengeance demon.
Yeah, but she never even Angel, and Spike, after all their brooding, they showed sympathy for what they did.
Right.
But like Enya, they deserved it.
She did actually. I mean, in that seventh season, the frat house.
Yeah, but that was just because it was the final season.
Well, there you could go. That's like Anya's experience, like of being with the mortals and being with Xander, and
yeah, but I thought that they would have been better. Xander and Cordy would have been better as a couple in the long run.
Yeah, but I mean,
yeah, that's why
high school stupidity. I mean, I remember being stupid in high school too.
Yeah,
I mean, you do stupid things like you cheat on your girlfriends, and or you dump them for,
I guess that's
for this or that,
Yeah, I guess that's why I like reading fanfic. Like reading fan fiction because it actually has more character, more what a person wants in mind and what they think would be better.
As a Buffy fan, especially in the Dark Horse seasons, they did seasons 8, 9, and 10 on Dark Horse Comics, and I only made it through season 9. I don't think I may have started 10, may have not. It gets kind of like it loses its track in the comic form. Boom Studios has it right now. It has the Buffy license, and they have a new continuity that's outside of that. And that Dark Horse one was the official season 8 because that was written by Whedon. The official season 9 written by Whedon. But
go ahead.
Well, Anya, I mean, she was a demon, but she also redeemed herself, and she died nobly. Since you had demons, and also you recognize that heaven exists, because Buffy was pulled from heaven in the sing-along episode. I wanted Anya to come back as an angel, as a literal angel. Like, she was a demon. Now she's an angel. You know what I mean? Not like Angel had the powers that be. You know what I mean? That wasn't God, and that wasn't heaven. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, you look at hindsight now, and like, that it was Jasmine that was basically the one that manipulated everything so Cordy can end up being her mother.
Mm-hmm.
and like
yes.
and everything
Talk
and
about a
like
more convoluted storyline. I mean, I had the
and
hardest time keeping attention to that.
and it was like
Connor
even
and
even
Jasmine and
Charisma Carpenter hated that season.
that
And
was, well, yeah, because that's like the source of a lot of her real life problems with Whedon.
and
Came from when
yeah,
she was pregnant art in real life, and then the TV show you just write around it. It's like,
yeah, yeah,
and he was a pastor to her.
yeah, and plus with I never really liked what he did with Xander through the later seasons because Xander was never really evolved as a character. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you have Buffy and Willow; they both get better and better and more and as either characters, and they fight trials and tribulations. With Xander, he's just this supportive, constantly
Right.
support guy, and nothing
Like
nothing
Jimmy
new.
Olsen. He's
Yeah.
archetypical. You know what
But
I
even
mean?
Jimmy Olsen gets a better deal than he does.
Well, over time, Xander is probably going to become the next Watcher. You know what I mean? Even after,
Yeah, but
because
I
remember
mean,
the Watchers were destroyed.
Even Giles and Wesley got a better deal than he did. But
Oh, Wesley's End.
yeah, the all right, but I mean,
Here on Geeks Talking Geek, we're talking geek.
yeah. All right, so
It's true. I
all
mean,
right,
hey,
so speaking
nothing
about
beats a natural conversation, especially when you just
yes,
add Buffy.
yes.
Throw some Buffy in that room now.
So speaking about vampires, have you seen this
No,
new
I haven't.
Salem's Lot?
I love Salem's Lot. I didn't
Yes,
see. There's like a
yeah,
one with Rob Lowe.
yeah, and Rutger Hauer.
Oh, geez, I would, and then like people are like, don't watch that. Don't do that to yourself. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I love Rutger Hauer. Like, nah,
Yeah,
it's
he
pretty
was
bad.
Mr. Barlow. He was Mr. Barlow in this one,
Mhm.
and this one was the TNT, the one with Rob Lowe and Rutger Hauer was on TNT. The first
Mhm.
one, the one that came out when you were a kid. Where
Mhm.
did it come out?
It came out in 1979 on CBS. It starred David Soul, who was a huge television star at the time, and he had a singing contract too. He had a couple of albums out. He was on Starsky and Hutch, and he was huge. They got Bonnie Bedelia to play the female lead, and you might know her better as Holly Gennaro or Holly McLean from Die Hard 1 and 2.
Wow. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And, so he also had James Mason, who was this famous character actor. And he was what was his name again? The old man. The old
Oh,
man.
his
Um,
ghoul, Doctor Mr. Barlow's ghoul.
yeah. Um, and
I love that guy. He's like, put the
he's,
cross down, holy man. Your shaman magic won't work
but
against the master.
that's James Mason, though. He's most famous for playing Humbert Humbert in Stanley Kubrick's Lolita. Lolita.
Yeah, and
Lolita.
and he
Yeah.
and I loved the makeup that they did for Mr. Barlow because he looked like Max
Mm-hmm.
von Streit's Nosferatu,
Yeah.
but it with
Jerry. It was his Gary. No, Jeffrey Lewis is this famous character actor. And he played the guy who was the grave digger, and he
yeah.
ends up being vamped out. He had this like really one of the creepiest scenes in there where he just like you enter the room and it's dark and he's sitting in a chair and his eyes are glowing.
Oh yes,
And that's Jeffrey Lewis, and he's
yeah.
also the father of actress Juliette Lewis.
Really.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly.
So like
Trivia.
so like the new Salem's Lot is going to be on HBO Max,
Mm-hmm.
and let me show you the new trailer that just dropped a couple weeks ago.
Dun, dun. There's going to be a new Nosferatu coming out in and by what's his name, Eggers, the guy who did the Northman.
Yeah. Oh, I love the Northman.
He's doing Nosferatu.
I've always written stories about things that are so terrible. You'll run away until your brain won't remember.
So why did you come back?
I'm here for research.
What exactly, though, are you researching?
Have you noticed anything out of the ordinary in the lot recently? There are some folks who've had some kind of unusual experiences. They used to tell us stories about this place. You have no idea what you're getting yourself into here.
Daddy, where are you?
And so many.
It's not a disease you can catch.
If we don't fight back, they'll come for us eventually.
Things have gone bad in the lot now.
It's not safe!
Sundown, you better take care. If I find you've been creeping round my back step.
Is it a movie or is it a miniseries?
It's a miniseries. No, it's a miniseries. It's done by the people who've done The Conjuring and It. So yeah, they have some experience doing like the Stephen King adaptations.
I didn't like
And-
it. Was I skipped it chapter 2. I didn't. I said fuck it. Sorry.
Yeah, so I'm kind of open-minded to this because it's like I've always hated like the way the vampire has been made was made like during the Twilight era and things like that. And
Right.
but I love when the vampire is just like this predatory creature. And it's like it's like very, very, very disturbing. Like the only thing you could have is to be safe is the sunlight or a cross, and not all of those things is going to be at hand.
I remember. You ever read I Am Legend?
Yes.
Okay.
I love that one.
I love the line about he's like, would a cross work against a Muslim vampire? If your vampire was he said Mohammedan. And that was 1958.
Yeah.
But it was but all the same, like, ask these sci-fi kind of questions. Like, if the vampire was formerly a Muslim, would a cross work against it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm really open-minded to this, even though like some of the characters like look like they've been race swapped, but I don't really care about that. I'm open-minded to seeing what the type of story that they want to convey.
Well, yeah, it was the kid and his parents. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
just because the kid ends up, being like, just the Van Helsing had, what's his face? Oh shit! I should know this.
Harker.
Yeah,
Harker.
Jonathan Harker with him. Exactly. So the
Yeah,
kid
so
is, follows that archetype
yeah.
of, but he's just like, I don't think the color of his skin was even like, that's like, like, is it mentioned in the book?
I don't
Was
think
there
so.
wasn't even really a book. It was like a short story.
Yeah, and well, actually, it was a book, but it was basically like the town was the main character, and the
Mhm.
people were just part of it.
I
So,
thought it was originally a short story called Jerusalem's Lot, and it
uh,
was just about like after dark, people start disappearing and stuff, and it was just like,
yeah, some people would
um,
end up getting sick, or some people would,
long since I've read that.
yeah, some people would
Yeah.
end up getting sick. Like one of the things is that that really stuck to me in the trailer was when the gravedigger was putting the dirt on the coffin, and all of a sudden the coffin just goes boom,
Mm,
and it's like those little moments that can get you in horror.
yeah. And but it looks like it's a period piece. It looks like it's set
Yeah, yeah,
in 1979.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So it's like it's so it's supposed to be get that nostalgia thing. It's like it, it yeah, okay. They had the original
yeah,
1979. It already looks like that.
yeah,
Yeah. you you could have put it now. Why not?
yeah. But like in the second one, the one from TNT was
Hmm.
done in the current era at the time, which was
Will,
the the 2000s.
will the internet mess it up? I mean, like having the internet or having cell phones. Do you need to
Well,
have that kind of like antediluvian sense of technology? Like the story just works better if we had corded phones, you know, if we don't have like this instantaneous communication thing. You don't have
yeah,
Uber, you know.
yeah. I don't know if you saw it, but they have the guy from Parks and Recreations on there as a store owner.
Hmm. I never watched that show, really. I was
Yeah,
never into Parks and Rec, never into The Office either.
my sister got me into Parks and Rec, and I watched the season. It was kind of funny to me. I mean, I especially like the character Ron, and he's going to be in there.
Hmm.
But it's like it it's like basically retelling the entire story. It's going to be like a retelling of like the 1979 miniseries.
Yeah, it looks it. Yeah, I mean, and
It's going
watch that one. It's only 3 hours long, and it's still, dude. I watch that every year, every Halloween ish, and it still has two jump scares near in the second half of the movies that still work. Two or three jump scares, and plus the creepy stuff. But I'm
yeah,
talking legit jump scare, and
like
it still works. The
the
music,
jail cell scene.
something like that. Just like I've and but I just remember jumping out of my seat again, just like, and I feel like I knew it was coming. I've seen this before a bunch of times. I own it, but it still gets me though every time. Though I'm like,
Yeah,
that's the power of a good movie.
uh,
And
yeah,
oh gosh,
yeah.
that's
Okay, so let's go to our last segment. I just this just came out earlier this month. IDW just lost My Little Pony and American Girl
Mhm.
Mysteries. So like this is the like I've been an IDW fan for a long time, and I especially like the Jason Aaron run that he's doing with TMNT, but it's sinking. The ship is sinking fast.
Sometimes they sink fast. Yeah,
Yeah,
uh, they just
and,
like snap in the middle, and then
yeah,
like
and like they just
that Jason
lost.
Aaron movie.
Oh yeah, they just like last year they like a couple years ago they lost GI Joe and Transformers, and now this
Hmm.
year it's My Little Pony. There are other
I
big.
thought they would have lost them altogether. I thought the entire Hasbro license went to Skybound. I didn't know that there were stragglers. Maybe they were just like, I thought eventually like My Little Pony would end up over there.
Yeah.
Maybe like Strawberry Shortcake. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Whatever.
Yeah, but
every like Hasbro has been done, has girl stuff. So
yeah, so like the last Hasbro holdouts were My Little Pony and
American
actually,
Girls theirs too?
yeah, and I
They're
think they're,
huge.
but they're still going to have Monster High, which kind of confuses me. And I know this because my friend is a big Monster High fan,
Mm-hmm.
but they're still going to have like a run. They're still going to have like a 2-year run with Monster High, and Monster High is Hasbro.
Okay, so and that's IDW.
Yeah, IDW is still going to have Monster High, but like they're still going to have TMNT. That's the only play. That's their only
Right.
flagship title.
And then they also have a Paramount the Paramount license includes TMNT and Star Trek.
Yeah,
I believe that's what it is because
yeah, but
Wes
I think
mentioned it earlier today.
Yeah, but I think it's going to run out next year.
I mean,
And this really hurts because I was a big. I don't know if you remember the Contamination storyline where they had like this big crossover event.
It was the that was like ROM and the space and the Micronauts and Mass.
No, that was the Hasbro verse. Like
okay.
Contamination, it's like they had like a zombie. They had 2 Contaminations. One was from like a original IDW, which was Black Ops Vampires, and then like it went through different universes. It went to Transformers, G.I. Joe, Star Trek, 1960 Star Trek, and Ghostbusters. And then they did it again the next year because the year before that, it was zombies, and then they do it again with a Cthulhu like monster, and then they have like another Transformers universe, another G.I. Joe universe, Dungeons and Dragons, 30 Days of Night, and I think it was like may have been another. I can't remember. It's been so long since I read those books, but it's really hard. I mean, I know they want to blame Heather Antos, but I think it's because a lot of the people don't have the foresight. A lot of the people behind the scenes don't have the foresight to see what they can have, or what they can't have in licensed property. They think that it's just going to last forever.
Yeah, but just I don't know, the Skybound stuff. I'm so happy with G.I. Joe. I'm so happy with Energon Universe. I've warmed up to Void Rivals. Void Rivals is actually a lot better than Scarlet. I'll tell you that much. I don't hate Scarlet, but I
don't hate Scarlet, but I mean, it's really, really heavy into the queer baiting right now.
Don't worry. We're going to see all that Kelly Thompson energy come to fruition in Absolute Wonder Woman. My instincts say like that. Diane is going to be gayer than gay.
Yeah,
and that's where you're going to see like,
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, it's like they're right now. It's like Jinx and Scarlet are trying to stop they're with the Agakagis to try to stop Mars from teaming up with Cobra.
Correct. And there's the
Yakuza and everything, but it's like they don't know where they got this information from. And it's like, oh wait, yeah, like it. I mean, even a blind guy could see they got the information from Snake Eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like they're like, and like Duke's best friend was killed by believed he was killed by Starscream. And of course Duke's best friend in canon is Snake Eyes. So Snake Eyes was probably rescued by the Agakagi the Agakagi,
And
and he was
nobody knows
also
where Megatron is. And you know what? I just figured it out. Megatron should, Megatron should be hiding out as Cobra Commander's sidearm,
yes,
in his holster. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I think that would be brilliant because
yeah.
it's like,
It's they kind of did that in the first GI Joe versus Transformers
uh,
because they like one of the
they could
things that
still have
they
a gun. Yeah, he wasn't a tank yet, was he?
no he was he like one of the holdouts that they basically with GI Joe and versus Transformers, they basically brainwashed both the Autobots and the Decepticons to be the Cobra's vehicles,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the holdouts was Megatron because he refused to be controlled,
Mm-hmm. That
and
makes
so
sense.
he became Cobra Commander's sidearm, and like
Oh, maybe that's where I got it from. It's not an
yeah,
original idea.
but I said that would make sense too. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
both Cobra Commander and Megatron, they both want the Energon.
Mm-hmm.
They both want the Energon, and like I
Yeah.
and like I don't know if you've read issue 12 of Transformers, but
Daniel Warren Johnson's.
yeah, and
Yeah.
like Optimus actually really struggles as a character in this arc. I mean,
Yeah.
he killed Shockwave, and he's like, what have I done?
Right.
And he chose Earth. He chose to save the Earth. He chose to save the Earth because he knew if Cybertron was in the orbit, it would destroy Earth. So he chose to destroy the Gateway. And
and look what happened. I mean,
yeah,
now you have there's like a big new resource on Earth. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like is it full of Energon, or it's full?
yeah.
It's definitely
You
Cybertronian
got
technology
yeah,
that's
you
going
got
to change the balance of everything on Earth.
yeah, and then you got GI Joe, who doesn't know about anything about Transformers. They
Mhm.
think that they're all the same. They're all in the same or anything about the Autobots or the Decepticons, and because they think they're all on the same boat. And then you got Cobra that thinks that's basically trying to gather up the resources.
Mhm.
So I'm very interested to see where this goes. But going back to IDW, they're just losing everything. I wouldn't be surprised if they lose the license to TMNT, most likely in a couple of years, but I want to see what like Jason Aaron's run will do with Jason Aaron will do with like his run of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because this reminds me like that. I don't know if you saw that, like 2016 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie where they all started off in different places. Mikey was doing kids' birthday parties. Leo was off training in South America. Raph was a vigilante, and Donnie was doing tech support. It kind of reminds me of that because, like, Raph got arrested for being a vigilante. Mikey is a movie star. Leo's training, and I don't know where Donnie is. They haven't gotten that far yet, but it's kind of like. But then they have to get all together because the Foot Clan's back. I'm kind of interested in seeing where this goes. What about you?
I don't really,
Mm. All right, so
I don't. I'm a Mirage Turtles fan from way back in the day.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I was just never into the IDW Turtles. It's good for Eastman and Laird that they still that was the little comic book that made it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, and they did it with their own tax refund.
yeah, and it's just I was like, gosh, I think I shared with you like one of the first issues I bought,
Yeah,
just like back in
yeah.
like 1988, and it was like
Mhm.
issue 16, and it was this one of like it was Mikey like making up a story. It was like an
Yeah.
imaginary tale, and it's set in feudal Japan, and they have a guest penciler, and the art is so slick. And then 2 issues later, like I'm buying this stuff in high school at my local comic book shop. I'm buying Turtles back then, and then 2 issues after that starts Return to New York's. That's the one of the best turtle stories ever, in my humble opinion. Wow, Return to New York is amazing,
All right.
and I bought that in cereal in floppies. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
so do you still have them, or did they?
No, they're long gone. That was my
Oh,
high school book. Yeah, I my mom years ago gave me the only comic books that she um saved, like just it was all 6 issues of Craven's Last Hunt,
oh, really?
from like Web of Spider-Man, ASM, and Peter Parker Spectacular. Yeah,
Yeah,
I get all those are my original floppies, and I'm like, oh wow, like one of them's like worth $35.
yeah,
Like that's cool. Yeah, huh? It's a
yeah.
decent. It's in a really, and they all had bags and boards. So it's
Really.
just like, so yeah, I was just like, wow, this is held up ridiculously well.
All right. Think we're gonna wrap it up now. Now
Well,
I'm gonna
cool. Yeah,
do
just let me ask you a question before we go. Did
sure.
you see Transformers 1, the movie, yet?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. I haven't either. I don't usually do Transformers movies. Like the Michael Bay movies were a big
Yeah,
miss for me. Um, I just give me. I'm so weird. It's like any Transformer any Megatron that's not a gun isn't really
yeah,
Megatron.
yeah.
Your T-Rex, your tanks, none of it. None of it. No, seriously. I never got into Beast Wars. That was never my cup of tea.
Yeah.
I was
Don't
a
let Ekany hear you say that. He loves
yeah.
that. He loves that one.
Which one? Beast
Beast
Wars?
Wars.
Well,
Yeah.
that's of a generation after me,
Yeah.
literally. I mean, it's for a younger generation. The Beast Wars, did a lot of there were a lot of dinosaur crazy kids after Jurassic Park. Jurassic
Yeah.
Park came out when I was 20. So it was like just like we didn't have that dinosaur that big dinosaur movie, and Beast
Mhm.
Wars I think came out of Jurassic Park. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That kind of it dovetailed. Hey, what about Transformers with dinosaurs? And but it was a good adaptation.
Yeah.
It's definitely some kind of multiverse thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it's kind of like the prehistory of Transformers because
Well,
at the
because
very
there is no because can Optimus Primal
yeah,
coexist with
but
Optimus Prime?
at the very end, the final series finale, it shows them with they found the Ark and the other Transformers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's like well, and it shows why the Decepticon ship crashed into the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
So they try to connect the two together.
Indeed.
All right, so thanks for joining us, guys.
Thank you for having me on. It was always good. Geeks talking geek. And we
Yeah,
definitely got geeky and talked about it.
yeah. All right, so see you guys. Hope to
All
see you guys
right.
in our next episode. We're going to be celebrating some anniversaries, and
Mhm.
hopefully I can get like there's going to be a guest I want to try to get on here, so we could talk like because we're going to talk next episode. We're going to be talking about the 40th anniversary of Transformers TMNT, then the 50th anniversary of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and the
Ooh.
70th anniversary of Godzilla. So I
that
want
sounds-
to
Yeah.
try to get Roman the Emperor on here because he is a big movie buff.
Nice. Good luck.
All right.
All
So
right.
thanks for joining us, guys. This has been Reverend Sully and Bandito Bane saying keep playing and God bless.
Is it just me? I'm commandeering Bandito Bane's station here. It's true. My producer's a Pikachu, and he wants me to pirate Bandito Bane's station. And we've got, we've got girls, dancing girls prepared. They're in the backstage warming up.